Oh yeah, that's a run. I'll show you guys a little trick. Some of the body guys probably already know this, but I'm gonna show you a little trick on how to fix a run, how to sand out a run using Glaze. This is a thinner body filler. It helps so you don't cut into all the clear around there and burn through. So let me get this mixed up, get it on. It doesn't take a whole lot because you're only putting a really thin layer on it. All mixed up, and then just put a real tight coat on it. It's a little sag up here too, but I think I'll be all right up there. Yep, almost a see-through coated mud. Try to get off all the excess around there. Make sure you spread it out smooth. We'll let that set up and we'll come back to it. Got my wet sanding bucket down here, just like I'd be, wet sanding any dirt nib or run. I got a plexiglass block. Any hard block will work fine. I just like the plexiglass block, which I make these blocks. So if anybody wants any, let me know. I can make them fairly cheap, ship them to you. I'm going to start out with 1,000 grit. You could probably actually do 800. I'd rather spend a little bit more time here than trying to smooth out 800 grit scratches, but you'd be fine using 800 if you wanted to. It'll cut a little quicker. You can probably see what's happening already. When you sand, it hits all the high spots of the run. Instead of, normally when you would sand out something like this, it'll hit all the clear around it and your run. It's hard to single out the run, which actually this block is a little bit long, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on these areas out here. I'm gonna watch and see if they get affected. Hopefully they won't if you keep the block flat enough. If they do, I'll switch over to a smaller, shorter block. But I got quite a bit of clear on here. I'm not terribly worried about breaking through, but it can happen. That's why I'm using the Glaze. All right, now check it. Squeegee off the water. And yeah, it is digging in to the sides. So I'm gonna go switch up to a shorter block. So you can see how just the high spots of the run are showing through. The low spots are still protected by the Glaze. That's the trick here. Run is almost gone. You got just a little bit of Glaze left. So keep working the area obviously until all the Glaze is sanded off. And once the Glaze is gone, I would say about 95%, 98% of your run will be gone too. See any more Glaze? Let's check it. A couple small spots of Glaze left, but I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to 1500 grit. So now I'm gonna finish this off with 3,000 grit on a DA and then 5,000 grit. And then I'll bring the buffer out and I'll buff this area up. So I'll turn the camera back on when I get the buffer out here so you guys can see it. But yeah, 3,000, 5,000, go ahead and skip that. It's pretty boring. You just put it on your DA and go over the area, try to get the 1,500 grit scratches out. And like I said, I got a little sag up here I'm gonna work on. And then when I get the buffer out, I'll turn the camera back on. You know what? I'm actually gonna make this video a twofer. So another trick I've learned is on like smaller dirt nibs and runs, take a permanent marker and actually draw on the run. A fat tip one really helps, but I don't have any of those right now. But you draw on your run, or you know, mark over your dirt nib or your scratch or whatever. Use that kind of like a guide coat to see where you're at. See what it does.
Why is that shovel?
See how it'll start to highlight your run, give you a better idea of where you're at. One thing I've noticed though doing this trick is once your marker is gone, it doesn't necessarily mean that your run is gone, but it does help kind of control. It does get hard to see when you're wet sanding. You know, everything's got water on it. It's hard to see the low spots. And some of the, you know, right lighting, you can catch it. But this marker trick really helps, you know, because you can see where, because the run was kind of like this. So you can see where all the low spots are pretty good. And you know that you're not even close to getting it out yet. So you just keep working on it. And obviously water isn't going to take it off or affect it any. So you don't have to worry about that. I got the tape on here just so I'm not digging into that flat surface. Marker's pretty much gone, so I'm gonna check it. You know, in this case, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't see any remnants of the run left. It was a pretty light run. It really wasn't even a run. It was more of a sag, but in this case, once the marker was gone, I'm pretty happy with the results. So I'm gonna go ahead and move up to 1,500. And then same thing, 3,000, 5,000, and then we'll pull out the buffer and turn the camera back on. So that's what it looks like after 5,000 grit. You can see it's still got a shine to it almost. 5,000 is kind of nice. There it is, Gandhi. One up here. Gone. Does work. So if you got a nasty run, give it a shot. I've done it on some pretty rough ones. Helps out. Saves all the clear around it. The rest of it looks pretty good. It had some nibs in the hood, so I'm gonna go through just in the front end of the hood. Must have been some dust or something laying up here when I came down with the clear gun, and I think it shot some dirt onto the lip of the hood. So got that out. I'm gonna buff that, head home.